So how do you make an F10 M5, a car that's more than 10 years old, look, feel and drive not just like new, but maybe better than new? That's what we're going to get into in this video. How do you differentiate a petrol head from a sane person, a normal person? A sane person, a normal person gets a new car, they drive it to work, forget about it, drive it back home, forget about it. A petrol head gets a new car, and then they plan their entire next week around the car. So I'm sat here. It's supposed to be Monday, but it's really Tuesday. But let's just assume it's Monday to keep this video consistent. So Monday, let me tell you what my plan is for the rest of the week, since I'm a petrol head and not a normal person. Tuesday, I shall be taking this car to my workshop, my trusted workshop, who's maintained my Alpinas, my other cars before this. I want them to take a general look at the car, a preventative maintenance if needed, oil change. I know that most has already been done on this car, but nonetheless, it's good. It's good form, especially for a performance car like this. So that's my Tuesday. Actually, that's where I'm going right now. Wednesday. What do we have planned for Wednesday? Wednesday, I'm getting rid of those damn sticky handles, those rubber handles, faded panels. I do not like cars feeling their age. Thursday. What's the plan for Thursday? Thursday is suspension day or coilover day. So this car has brand new KW V3 coilovers, as some of you may already know. So they are adjusted to my friend's preference because I bought this car for my friend. And my friend has a baby, but somehow he loves his car stiff and really low. I don't know what that tells me about him or his baby, but for me, I like my cars a little bit higher, not very high. I'm going to go for maybe competition package height. This is much lower than the competition package. And I'm going to make it a little bit softer because I really am at heart maybe an Alpina guy. So I don't care if I'm going to have the last bit of turning in a tight corner. I just want the car to be a bit more comfortable. That's Thursday. What's the plan for Friday? Friday, I'm going to take this car to a leather specialist here in Singapore. They usually work with expensive handbags and shoes, but somehow they're going to work on my car. And they're going to try and get this leather interior, mainly the front seats, which need a little bit of work. And again, I'm being fastidious, but that's just me. But they're going to get it looking and feeling practically like new. Yes, that's how petrol heads spend their first week with the new car. So I'm recording this on Tuesday evening. I wanted to do it in the workshop, but it was a little bit noisy. So the good news. Completely clean bill of health for the car. Engine has no leaks, no issues. It was rebuilt 10,000 kilometers ago, so that shouldn't be a surprise. But it's absolutely fine. They checked everything. The engine, they lifted the car, undercarriage, all of that. That said, there was two small things that will need some addressing, not now, but eventually. Number one is the left front suspension lower control arm. The bushing is showing a little bit of signs of wear. The hypothesis from them is it's because the car has been lowered that puts additional pressure on that. In any case, I'm getting the car raised anyway, and then we'll just take a look at it, but I've asked them to just order the part anyway. I'm kind of a little bit obsessive like that. I just want the car to be fine. Like I do that with all my cars in general. I would like it to be in good working condition. I'm not going to wait for some part to have some failure. So there's that. And the second bit is, again, probably a consequence of the car being lowered, is there's a scratch and hence there's a small crack at the bottom of the exhaust, not at the back of the car, towards the front where the exhaust begins a little bit. Again, they said that it's not penetrated at all. It's not an issue right now. They'll monitor it. They don't recommend doing anything for now. So we'll keep an eye on it. And if it needs to be fixed, all it needs is basically, it needs a little bit of maybe a few hours of downtime because they basically need to get that particular bit welded shut. So that's about it. That's it. Apart from that, the engine has been rebuilt, so it's in perfect condition. No leaks anywhere. Everything is exactly working as it should be. Yeah. So anyway, Tuesday is done. On to tomorrow, Wednesday. So I drove the car over to Sin Ming. It's an industrial cluster here in Singapore, a lot of automotive repair shops. And the purpose was to get the door panels, the sticky rubber, not really the handle, but the surround of the power windows and the back panel to get that fixed. So yeah, I left the car And then here I am coming back later to pick it up. Alrighty, I'm heading over to check out the sticky door handle fix over here in Sinming. Alrighty, I've got the car back and the handles, I'm gonna just switch the view. The handles are basically like new now. Now the leather still needs reconditioning, that's gonna happen on Friday. But the handles across the board, and I'll put in some shots of the back, are fine now. Alright, let's go. Alright folks, it's Thursday morning. I'm on my way to renowned Powerhouse, the workshop, the M specialist that used to maintain this car for my friend. And we're going to get the work done to raise the KW V3s, raise them, improve the ride comfort a little bit by maybe softening the car. Alrighty. This is how a cold start sounds with the M5 with Akrapovic exhaust. As we are heading out, I want to take the opportunity to tell you how this car rides and handles right now before the adjustment. So the car is definitely lowered. I mean, it's lowered, not definitely. And it's definitely stiff, is what I wanted to say. It's stiff. That said, it's remarkably compliant when the roads are decent, even if the roads are slightly uneven. The key issue that I have with the current setup is that the moment you have anything resembling a pothole, or not even a pothole, but more than a minor imperfection, a major imperfection. And right now in Singapore, we're actually having a lot of gas line repair. So there's a lot of often, usually Singapore has amazing roads, but as of right now, there's a little bit of repair going on. So whenever there's that small crevice in the road or whatever, the car crashes into it, which I don't like. It's quite unpleasant. So big undulations on the road, catch it out. That's my main criticism right now of the way the car drives. On the positive end, the car in a straight line, it feels big, heavy, stable. But the moment you turn the steering wheel in a corner, it seems to lose its weight. It's a very strange feeling. It's like if I'm driving it in a straight line, it feels like, yes, this is like almost like a 5, almost a 7 series, I would say. It has a tremendous amount of speed mask in a way because it's just so stable. But the moment you find a corner and you turn, it's just, yeah, it's really something else. So I don't want to lose that. I don't mind losing a little bit of it because I want a slightly better ride quality. But yeah, I want to maintain that turn. And so let's see how they can do it. Yeah. All right, I'll update you once this is done. So I had a discussion with the folks here at Renowned Powerhouse to tell them what I really wanted with the car, because I really am not going to track the car. I want a compliant ride and I want a better ride height because right now it's really low. So we did some base measurements, saw where the car was at currently. And we had a discussion of whether we would stick to the KW factory settings or we would go for something a little bit softer. So they raised the car, we checked everything, just got a sense of where it was, also based on the rim sizes. This is a 20-inch rim. And finally what we decided is that the KW settings would be a little bit too stiff for me. So we decided to go for softer than KW. I'll put the settings over here. And we raised the ride height to about M5 competition height. And I'm just going to do a side by side. So this is the base before raising. Visually, it looks like the tires are touching the body of the car, but they aren't. But the clearance is extremely low. And this is how we got it done after raising it. This is roughly at M5 competition height, roughly. It's still lowered about 10 to 12 mm versus the regular car. But I think this is a good height. This is a good compromise. It looks good. And as you will find out as I run you through the actual driving of it, it made quite a difference. All right, you catch me on the first drive after getting the suspension adjusted. It's good so far. I've got the height raised to about M5 competition height. And of course, I've gotten the KW's adjusted to be softer. I'll put the settings here in case those of you are interested. It's softer than the factory recommended settings. Immediately, the car's ride quality is much better. It's still stiff though, so it makes me wonder a little bit about the default factory settings that KW recommends. But it's good. The car still has the feeling of tightness. I haven't really taken it to the highway yet. I'm still right now in smaller roads, broken roads here and there because of the construction. Not broken. Real broken roads you need to go to India, but by Singapore standards, less than perfect roads. So far it's good. Let me catch you a little bit later on because I want to see how this thing does on the highway, and I'll give you my thoughts. All right, we are heading onto the highway, so we're gonna get a little bit better sense of how the suspension does at higher speeds. So far so good. It still has that feeling that I was really liking of the M5 feeling, very stable at high speeds, a little bit of a speed mask feeling. It's quite compliant, but it kind of feels stuck to the road. So far so good. Let's see, we get a little bit, do some maneuvering, some lane switching. Yeah. This is more like good roads, but I have driven these roads on cars with stiffer suspension, and they are okay. We just went over a little unevenness in the bump. The road joint much softer than before. Another road joint coming up. My God, it's compliant. It's really compliant now. Okay. So far so good. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Taking the corners reasonably well. Stretch to call them corners, but yeah. The other thing I'm really liking is the ride height. It was really low, which of course looks amazing aesthetically, but I'm always kind of the person who prioritizes functionality over aesthetics. That's just kind of me, good or bad. And I just feel that the slightly raised ride height, not very raised. When I say raised versus being that lower, this is like M5 competition height. It suits the car well. And finally, the most important stakeholder. What does my wife think about it? Does she even notice the difference? To put this to the test, I picked her up and then I told her there was something different about the car and I asked her to tell me what it was.
Okay, so what have you done to the car recently?
Have you noticed anything different? No?
I have to see the car from the outside because you did tell me that you did something that I don't really enjoy, and probably that would make me feel better, which is that you've raised the bumper. Is that the right?
Raise the suspension, yes.
Where is the suspension? It doesn't feel as bumpy as it was earlier. It feels slightly more comfortable. Is that what the suspension is supposed to do?
Raising the suspension doesn't make it more comfortable, but I also asked him to adjust the shock. So yes, it's supposed to be, not supposed to be. I feel it's a lot more comfortable. So that's why I didn't tell you anything that I've done anything to it. I just wanted to see whether you would have a natural response to the car. So is it more comfortable?
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't compare it to 7 Series, but
I don't think anyone will. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely more comfortable. Yeah. And I don't know, yeah, it is. Is it dramatically raised?
A little bit. This much.
Okay.
About half an inch.
Maybe we just on the elevated.
Does it feel higher inside?
Slightly.
Actually, it does feel a little bit higher inside.
It does feel slightly higher.
Inside, yeah.
Or I don't know if it my seat that's been raised.
No, it does. When I got into the car, that was another one of the things that I
Yeah, it doesn't feel that low actually. That's true. Yeah. Okay, so objective has been achieved.
Yeah.
What else did you change? Oh, you changed the handles, right?
Yes. So now you no longer have that.
I know the other day when I got off, like it was all sticking.
The black residue
yeah, it had all the black stuff in my hand. Yeah. Okay, good. Well done.
So there you go. Approval. Alright, it's Friday, the 5th day, and today is the day we're going to get the leather done. So let's take a look around the before and we'll see the after the leather is done. So looking inside the car, the front seats, the leather is not too bad, but you see that there are signs: cracking, age, discoloration. It is a 12 to 13-year-old car at the end of the day. So the driver's seat is the worst offender. But if you look at the door handles, they're not bad. Small things, little discoloration here and there that needs addressing. Again, I may be being a little finicky, but the whole brief here is to make it look almost as good as new. Back seats are much better, barely used. But that said, 12, 13-year-old car, a little bit of discoloration, some spots here and there. Rear handles are okay, one small mark over there. Luckily, I've changed the power window trim because that was going to be very painful. It was looking horrible. Better now. Other back seat side, pretty decent. Small discoloration on the backrest. Headrests are okay. It's in good shape, so not too much work to be done. And then the passenger seat, a little bit of discoloration on the bolster, little bit on the side bolster as well. Headrest also, some small signs of head hitting against the headrest. But overall in great shape, and again, so glad that I got the power window trims replaced. All right. So I'm driving back with the car. The leather has been done. There's a touch of smell of leather conditioner and some repair. I'll show you the leather, how it looks. Because it's evening right now, so I'm going to take the shots in the daylight tomorrow. And then, yeah, hopefully the video should also be out on the same day, Saturday. So we'll take a look at how the repair work has been done. So let's do this by doing a before and after. Well, this is the before with all the damage, all the cracks, and this is after. Wow, quite a difference, right? It looks totally different, much newer. That was, of course, the front driver's seat. Let's have a look at the rest of the car. Center console, passenger seat. Yeah, it's looking much better. This does not look like a 14-year-old car. I mean, it doesn't look exactly new. Look at the side pockets. Wow, that looks almost like new. Maybe a 10,000, 20,000 kilometer car. Back seats look fairly similar, but all the discolorations are gone. Yeah, I mean, if you were to see this car in a parking lot, this would look like a car that's done maybe 10,000, 20,000 kilometers, not 145,000 kilometers, 90,000 miles. Back seats again, pretty decent. This is the first time I've had this process done, so I didn't know what to expect. I knew it wasn't going to be like new, but look at it. It's pretty decent. Again, not factory fresh, but for the investment that you put into this, I can't think of a better ROI on any other item than refreshing the interior. It has made quite the difference. It's the end of the week. It's Saturday. And so perhaps it's time to get back to the original question we posed at the beginning of the video. What does it take to get a used F10 M5 feel, drive, and basically be better than new? And to that, we're going to examine where the car is right now, and we're going to separate it into mechanical and cosmetic. So mechanically, we have to begin at the engine. This car has had a full engine rebuild at 135,000 kilometers. It's currently at 147, so very recently. The thing to know is this is a 2012 M5. The first 2 or 3 years of the F10 M5, well, the engine design was not flawed, the S63TU, but it was more unreliable. And in 2015, they upgraded this with the upgraded parts on the competition package, as I understand it, based on the workshop, the M Specialist. And they made much more reliable components. So when this particular engine was rebuilt, a few things were done. More reliable components from the 2015 model, the competition package we used. On top of that, there are 2 or 3 things that you notice here that enhance both performance and reliability. These are the BMS air filters that you see on both sides. This is the FTP charge pipe for the turbo over here that you can see. And then you have the charge coolers by Project Gamma. So this is not a tuned car, but it's mostly OEM plus, because all of these components are better than the OEM M5 components. And on top of that, of course, this engine has been rebuilt with the 2015 components instead of the original 2012. So that immediately makes it a lot more reliable. So that's the first thing when we talk about mechanical. The second thing to talk about mechanical has to be the suspension, or rather the dampers And if you can just about see through this, or maybe I'll put a photo. This has KW V3s. Now the thing with the OEM dampers is that if you look at the feedback provided in the forums, they're either too soft or too floaty in comfort mode, or they're too hard in sports plus mode. KW V3s are considered a must-have upgrade for F10 M5 owners, and how you set them up is really up to you. Now you saw in this video what I did is the previous owner had them set up really low. This is set up now more akin to a competition package. So it's not too low, it's just right in my opinion. Earlier it was hunkered down, it was practically like one of those, whatever, those cars that go into shows. I didn't want something like that. I just wanted something practical. So I'll put the settings here. This is essentially slightly softer than KW's recommended settings, which suits me just fine since I'm slightly more comfort oriented. I'm not the biggest track driver. So there's that. That's the second OEM Plus upgrade. Third OEM Plus upgrade, the must-have, the Akrapovic Evolution. This honestly transforms the car. The sound of it, I know this is not a naturally aspirated car, but it hardly matters when it sounds so good. Yeah, this Akrapovic Evolution, not a cheap component, a pretty expensive component, is a must-have. So there you go. OEM Plus in terms of the engine, in terms of the suspension, and also, though this, you could argue this is cosmetic, but BC forged rims, the more I've been reading into them, the more impressed I have been. So these provide great weight savings versus the OEM M5 wheels. Now, whether these wheels in particular are your particular jam in terms of how they look, that's very personal. I like how they look, even though I'm typically an OEM kind of a guy. But there's no denying that there is a weight advantage, unsprung weight advantage, therefore a performance advantage. So that's another OEM plus. Other things to note when you buy a used car. Well, this particular car, the air conditioning has been redone, as I've talked in previous videos, and all the typical wear and tear have been done. I'm not going to go through them again because, there are other videos on my channel which will go receipt by receipt on what has been done on this car. So there we go into the mechanical. Now let's talk the cosmetic. Now the good news is this car in Moonstone Metallic and BMW individual color practically looks as good as new. The Moonstone Metallic has been taken care of extremely well. It speaks louder than words. Even though the car is a bit dirty right now, you can tell that the original paint is great. But there are a few cosmetic mods. The first mod, which I actually like, is the blacked out roof. It stands out really well. I think it works very well against the Moonstone Metallic, as you can see. So that's number one. Number two is all the carbon stuff. I could live without it, but I think most people would like it. Carbon mirrors, carbon spoiler. I just checked Bimmer work. I was confused about it. So originally these come with an M spoiler, but not a carbon spoiler. So this is aftermarket. Apologies, in my earlier video I said was factory. The factory didn't give this carbon thing back in 2012. And then you have the carbon diffuser. Works very well with the Moonstone Metallic. Yeah, so that's the cosmetic enhancement. Wheels we already talked about. You can decide whether they're an enhancement or not. But what I want to talk about is what I've gotten done to the interior. I have shown you before, after. But for a 13-year-old car now, I mean, the interior is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Look at the seats. The back seats practically look new. The driver's seat, doesn't look too bad either. And one important thing to note is these parts, these perishable parts. If I can just direct my camera in the right direction. Over here, over here, over here, and over here. And here you have it, the driver's seat. You've seen the shots earlier. For a 14-year-old car, of course, the leather has been reconditioned, redone. It's looking incredible. Another cosmetic enhancement. It could be functional, but it's cosmetic in my eyes. Is this Alcantara carbon fiber steering wheel. Looks nice, very nice to grip, because my first car was a Scirocco, which had a flat bottom steering wheel. My Audi S5 had a flat bottom steering wheel, so I appreciate the flat bottom here. And then all the carbon fiber trim. So there you go. This 13-year-old M5 is mechanically as good, if not better than new. Cosmetically, it's pretty much there as well. And yeah, this is hopefully a good outline for you. Two or three things that I want to tell you if you're buying an M5. Number one, it's all about the engine and gearbox. So if you have a 2012 or 13 car, try and see if the offending components have been replaced or the engine has been rebuilt, because otherwise you are headed for a big bill. This particular car, the engine rebuild cost more than $25,000. I didn't pay for it, the previous owner did. So you do have to know that. Don't shy away from KW V3s. They're very, very good. Yeah, but it's all about the engine and gearbox, really. You just have to find one where those are in a good state, either rebuilt or most wear and tear or most failure points replaced. That's the main thing, really. And cosmetically, you can get a lot done. All right, folks, I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed my first week with the M5, and I'll see you next time.